Hey, it's Mazzy, and welcome back. And I'm here for two reasons. I'm here to thank you all because this past weekend I just surpassed 20,000 subscribers, and in just under 4 years, I'm gobsmacked. I'm really surprised, and it's a great feeling to know that many of you like the content that I create here. Now, I do create a lot of content, and I know not everything is for everyone, but I thought what I would do here is, again, thank you all. I don't all the time ask you to subscribe and everything, but I know about half of my viewers subscribe. So if you'd be so kind to hit that subscribe button. I never ask people to ring that bell, and I just don't want to wake you up at 3 in the morning and notifying you that I've made a video, because you wouldn't be getting any sleep. So I don't care about that. But if you would do so, subscribe and watch the ones that interest you, and pass on the ones that don't. I have no problem with that, and I do thank you. So what I'm going to do here is a couple things. I'm just going to talk a little bit about who I am, for those of you who don't know me. And I've kind of done these autobiographical sections called Memories of a Vinyl Junkie. And I'm going to compile those into some quick, succinct answers. And then I'm going to answer the 10 most requested, the 10 questions that seem to pop up from the viewers on my videos. I compiled the top 10. Some of them are obvious to many of you, and I've answered all of these at one time or another, but I thought in one video it'd be kind of a little fun Q&A little thing right here. But first of all, I am going to talk about myself in terms of this album, because this album, one of the VJ issues, Song, Pictures, and Stories of the Fabulous Beatles, is when Capitol in America passed on the Beatles, and VJ, another label, especially VJ, accepted them and repackaged these series of songs in so many ways. And this is sort of a fun overview here. And there's some bio, questions, and of course, love hearts where you put your picture. And I never put my picture in here. This is a copy I got years later, but I do have another original. So I'm going to go through these questions that they ask all four Beatles and answer them to the best of my ability. Real name, Norman Edward Maslow. Birthplace, San Francisco, California. Birth date, August 23rd, which means I'm the first day of Virgo, on the cusp. The year they invented, the year Leo Fender invented the Stratocaster guitar. Height, 5'11". I'm like the same height as three of the Beatles here. Weight, I'm heavier, but these guys were like 19, 20 then. I weighed less than this at that time. God, Paul McCartney weighed 160 pounds. That seems a little beefy, Paul. At that age, I was like 135 or 140 or something. I weigh about 185 to 190, just depends on the day of week or month. Probably more since the pandemic. Eyes, green. Hair, brown, but now gray, and no hair up here. This is pretty much white hair, gray hair, you know, when you age. Education, San Francisco State University. Marital status, single. I'd never been married, however, I had a long-term relationship with a wonderful woman, Michelle. We're best friends, we're very good friends. And I have one son named Joseph, who you've seen in my videos. Plays guitar, I play guitar, and I hit the drums, but I don't really play the drums. Favorite singers, I'm gonna answer that with my favorite bands in a minute. Favorite actress, now it depends on how you define that. I always say Kate Beckinsale. I think that's a crush. Kate Beckinsale is a crush. Not necessarily my favorite actress. I like her though, but that's a crush. Instrument he plays the most, guitar. Well, there you go. Norman Edward Maslow. I was nicknamed Mazzy because of my last name in junior high school, and then of course Mazzy Star, you know, took it away from me. Okay, now here are the 10 questions I've compiled from the last year or so of videos. Now, a lot of the questions on each video are very specific to the point of that particular video. these are kind of an overview, more related to me in general, not necessarily to one video, but these are questions I get asked constantly, and I don't always respond to them, but I thought here's one time I can just do all 10 plus the 11th bonus question. Why do you have so many records? How can you listen to them all? Well, what I've said is I've been collecting records for just shy, I'd say 57 years to be exact, since Meet the Beatles. Now, collecting and buying, that's a whole different thing. I don't collect records to flip. I don't collect records as investments. Have I sold records before for more money? A few, not many. I rarely sell my records, which I will do some point, or my heirs and friends and family will do that at some point. But I like the idea of having a library, and my library downstairs is a place where I can go and check out a record depending on the mood I'm in, and I really love that. I'm not a streamer. I don't stream. If I want to hear something, I might do a clip somewhere through Amazon or Apple or YouTube, but I don't subscribe to any streaming services. And I like the idea of the artwork, the photography, and to curate a collection, which I've been curating for half a century now. So to me, having that library is very special. How can you listen to them all? Well, that answers that same thing. I have listened to all the records in my collection. Having said that, and it leads to another, that's question number 2 is, why do you have multiple copies of some records? Now, I have, in my Beatle collection, which is vast, I have multiple copies because I have different pressings, mono, stereo, literally different cuts, different mastering, different pressings, different countries, different cover combinations. And I like the idea of the art form as well as the music. The music is always primary. The music is always primary, but with vinyl records, as we know, the cover art is so very important to me, and I think to most record buyers, and that's adds to the reason. Also, I'm still convinced, and I went through 20 years of CDs, and I have an extensive CD collection, that vinyl, depending on your system setup, is still superior. It sounds better to me. It's more engaging to me. It's just, it feels better. And also, I have to pay attention to the music more usually. Now, I put things on and we'll run around and do things, but it's not something you can put on for 70 minutes and run around and do all those extra things during like a CD or streaming forever. Do you pay attention to stuff? Really? I'm sure some of you do, but that's from my point of view. Number 3, what type of gear do you have? Audio equipment. Now, I've done several segments of room tours. I did an updated, I recently got a new integrated amplifier, a big investment. I got a demo from my local Hawthorne Stereo, which is an amazing stereo store here. Just 2-channel stereo. They don't do surround. They do used and new gear, and I love them. And I got a Hagel H390. I got a demo unit, so I saved some money off it, about 20% off, give or take, maybe 20, 25. Anyway, I got it cheaper. It was a big investment, but I haven't bought a new amplifier in 20 years, so I think I deserved it. And I got away from the 5.1 surround system, the Rotel I had, and I am gobsmacked by the difference. It doesn't have all these bells and whistles, and it's just pure 250 watts a channel, mono blocks. Won't get into whole detail there. I have a Riga RP8 turntable with a Hanna ML moving coil cartridge with a Riga Aria phono stage. I have B&W 702 S2 speakers, and right now I love my stereo setup. Now I am in a live room. People who have watched my videos can kind of hear the ambience here, but this is where I live and I love it. I don't want to be relegated down into some man cave that no one wants to come and visit. However, I do have a second system downstairs, and I moved the rear B&Ws down there to replace the JBL L100s I sold. And I have a vintage Dual CS 5000 turntable down there. I don't play records down there a lot. I play more CDs. That's the CD room if you've seen that wall of CDs. So that's the gear I have. I'm not a chronic upgrader, and I'm not into gear. I respect people who are into it and want different sounds and change out things or test it or review it. That's not what I'm about. Usually when I like something, I stick with it almost till it falls apart. Having said that, I feel really good about my setup right now, except for the RP, the Riga, the RP8 is wonderful, but that piano black glossy surface gets fingerprints and dust. I wish I had a P8. So if anyone wants to send me a P8 or a P10, I don't ask for stuff. I don't get free shit. Oh, that's another question I didn't put here. Do I get free shit? I'm not sponsored. I don't get free shit. If I ever get free records, I do get a handful. I have showcased them and I mentioned who they're from. Sometimes friends, viewers have sent me things. There are several labels. There are the Sean and Yoko estates, the John Lennon estates that sent me Plastic Ono Band and the Imagine reissues, and I thank them and I showcase them. But everything else comes out of my pocket and I pay for. So, who makes your record shelves? Who makes your CD shelves? I get that a lot. My music room looks like custom setups and really beautiful cabinetry, but ironically, those are IKEA, a discontinued line of IKEA. I'm so bummed they discontinued those. They were called Bonde, B-O-N-D-E. I believe they were discontinued about 10 years ago. What I like about them over the Calyx, they're higher. Their shelves are adjustable, so you could put books and other things. You could change them around for a while. If you recall, I had my Beatle books in that room as well on one wall, so I was able to adjust to manage books. They have backs, little kind of cheap back things. You got to kind of make sure they're secure in there. They have like a little buffer foot edge and a top edge that hangs over, so you can't put doors on it. Actually, I have some of the doors stored in my garage, but I don't need doors. But Bonde, and I really like those. They looked more finished in the Calyx. I think Calyx is a great deal, and most of you I know have Calyx, and because it's the best deal, best bang for your buck out there. So all the power to Calyx. In a perfect world, when you have a house, if you have the investment, I think custom's the way to go. And that leads me to my CD shelves. When I do those videos, that whole long CD wall, that was a custom installation. And I found someone local who was actually really reasonable. I drew out, measured out, and spec'd out exactly what I wanted. The thing about that bottom downstairs area, I'm gonna split level, so the foundation, the side of the foundation, there's no basement, so it's on a slab. The foundation, which stays up about 3 feet, 3.5 feet, jets out about 6 to 7 inches from the wall. So all around that room, there's about like a shelf. And if you've seen my behind the drums, the CD jazz are literally sitting on that shelf. So I had this built on that wall. So it looks like it's inset in the wall. I had it designed custom for my CDs. I really love it. He sprayed it, painted it white to match the baseboards. I'm a Virgo, I like design. Is that superficial? No, I think good design helps to organize your space. So I could do a whole HGTV channel about organizing your stereo and your record gear. And also sometimes people ask me the unit I have my stereo on up here, that mid-century type of unit. It's designed by a local furniture maker here. I got it literally when I moved to Seattle from San Francisco 8 years ago. And it's Yoshihara Furniture, and that's in Seattle area as well. And he makes everything from kitchen cabinets, but he makes a line of credenzas and stereo gear, but you can customize it. So I had it slightly customized, and he puts the wire management holes in the back and does a beautiful job. It's handmade, it's beautiful, got a walnut finish veneer, but love it to death, and it's beautiful. Again, to me, the aesthetic is important also. Do you clean your records? No, I don't clean my records. I use a brush before, so it gets a dusting, but I don't. So who are your favorite artists, bands, musicians, etc.? Everyone who watches this channel knows, but I know I've been getting new subscribers, so let's put it in this one video. Obviously, I'm the generation, and the Beatles are my favorite band. I'm all in, multiple issues. This would most likely, on most days, be my favorite record. This is a UK stereo. I have UK monos. I have so many versions with the great cover art by Klaus Vormann. 1966, a fabulous, groundbreaking record. So amazing. Revolver. The Kinks, Village Green is probably my first. It goes back and forth between Village Green and Arthur. I think Ray Davis is a genius. I think he's an amazing writer. I think they're an amazing band. I even like into their 70s work as well, but love the Kinks and the Byrds. And sometimes the Kinks and Byrds swap position, but all in, all Byrds all the time. Fifth Dimension's probably my favorite. It might be a double hit whammy with Younger Than Yesterday, but even the later country Byrds and the different lineup. And I don't care what, every once in a while some people say, the Byrds weren't the Byrds after Chris Hillman and David Crosby and Gene Clark left. That's not the Byrds anymore. I disagree. Love the Byrds, and I was there. I did see the Byrds in 1967, one of the early concerts I went to, right soon after Gene Clark left the band. And that leads me into this. What is your favorite live show? I'm fortunate enough, again, if you watch me, growing up in San Francisco, right place, right time. I went to these amazing, amazing concerts. I saw the Dave Clark 5 at the Circle Star Theater. That was my first show. One of my favorite shows early on, 1969, The Who performing Tommy, the entire Tommy, 1969, at the Fillmore West in San Francisco, just a few months after the album was released. That same year, I went to Altamont. That was not my favorite concert, but it's one of those experiences when you tell people you were at Altamont. No, I wasn't at Woodstock. I wasn't on the East Coast. But that same year, the end of the 60s, tumultuous time, I went to Altamont. But I would say overall, the two big shows, in terms of big shows, were the Last Waltz at Winterland also, and the concert for George at the Royal Albert Hall in London a year after George passed. Those were bone-chilling, emotional, especially the Harrison show. Those were two great ones. But I've been fortunate to see like the Grateful Dead since 68 into the 70s, the 70 Winterland shows, the New Year's Eve shows. I loved Pink Floyd, seeing them at Winterland. It holds less than 5,000 people, perform the entire Dark Side of the Moon a few 6 months before the album came out. So we didn't know the music, but I loved that show. Elvis Costello's very first show ever in America at the Old Waldorf in San Francisco. I saw that. I saw the very first West Coast Ramones tour at the Savoy Tivoli. So I saw great punk shows and rock shows, and there's more that I can't even think of. Bruce Springsteen at the Paramount Theater and at Winterland, 1975, Born to Run, and 78, Darkness on the Edge of Town. Amazing, amazing shows. But I just love seeing music, and I've been to so many live shows, it's hard to count. Are you cheating when you whack a mole? I've had people say that. It started with, those of you who watch a lot of the vinyl community channels know Vinyl Richie. Vinyl Richie was the first VCer, vinyl community member, to accuse Mazzy of cheating. I do not cheat when I whack a mole. I pull 5 random records. Now, I didn't invent the concept of random pullings, but I coined the phrase whack-a-mole. I don't even own the rights to that, so shh. But it's gotten to be this kind of little thing in the VC. I'm gonna whack-a-mole. I love pulling from my collection. I love having friends over and pulling as well. That's what she said. I really enjoy the random pulls, and I just have that memory of those records. I know them, and again, it's a little bit of a game too, and a challenge for me. If I don't remember specifics about the music, I can talk about the artwork, the cover, when it came out, how the record affected me. What I like in my channel is about how the music affects me. It's not just showing a record for the sake of showing a record. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that's how I grew my channel and what I enjoy creating my channel. I've had a few of these lately. Every once in a while when I do a long intro of something, I like to do intros and telling the story. And someone wrote, several people have written this in various videos. Get to the point. Why are your introductions so long sometimes? I like to set it up. When I do a top 10, for instance, or a ranking video, I want to set the scene. It's like, I like to be a storyteller. Now, every once in a while, someone like this will say, at 5 minutes, 17 seconds, he gets to the point. He gets to the point. Why doesn't he shut up before the point? I get it. It's not for everybody. Get to the point, and I guess that guy does a service for those of you who hate my stories up front. So that's good. Number 10, this is the last question, and I do have a bonus, the last 10 question. And this gets asked a lot. How come the Archivist and Coffee Dave don't have their own channels? Or they say, we want more Archivist. We want more Coffee Dave. Usually they say they want more Archivist because there are very few women in the vinyl community. Well, the Archivist and Coffee Dave are amongst my best friends. Archivist is definitely one of my best friends. We've known each other for 17 years, and she has a life. She has a life beyond this. The reason she doesn't do it because of some of the wankers who comment when you have a woman there and say some things. I rarely delete comments, but every once in a while I get those misogynist bullshit comments when she or other women have visited here, friends of mine. But she has other things. She works in the music business on a different side of it, and she loves music and she knows a lot about it. And so as a friend, it's great to share that with her. Dave is a big collector, big vinyl, wonderful, just a really heartfelt guy. He obviously went in with me with the Coleman collection, and we had a really fun time going down to San Francisco, bittersweet reasons, and we curated that collection. We kept probably 600 to 700 records each ourselves from Coleman's collection. We sold about 2,000 of them. We gave about 1,000 away to people we know of certain records, donated some. I sent some out myself. And we have about 800 to 1,000 left, possibly. Maybe not the primo stuff, but some cool stuff. I don't know. But to me, it's what Coleman's sister wanted and what Coleman would want his records to be dispersed for people who know about his collection and care about his collection. So Coffee Dave is a fan favorite, and we have a fun time together. Now, the last question is my bonus question, the bonus question, and I get asked this a lot. Why do you wear a hat? Why do you wear a hat indoors? Why do you wear a hat inside? Who's the wanker with the hat, the goatee? Eric Clapton's not the wanker. The guy with the hat, the goatee, and the glasses is the wanker. I like hats. As you know, I'm follically challenged, but I'm not one of those old guys that pretends he's not bald. No comb overs, not that bullshit, no hair dyes. I like wearing hats. It protects my head. I've been wearing hats for over 25 years. I have a nice hat collection, and I just enjoy it. I guess it's become sort of this iconic thing for me. Again, I'm not the only bald guy with a hat, believe me. In fact, I go to places and people say, I know you. It's not about YouTube. That they think I look like someone because there's a lot of bald guys with glasses and goatees who wear hats. Even on the vinyl community here, there's several of us who wear hats. So it's just something I enjoy, and it's, it gets the light off the glare and all that stuff. I don't have to, anyway, that's it. So again, I thank you all. Thank you for 20,000 subscribers. Please push that button, subscribe, but just enjoy the content. Again, there's something for everyone, I hope. And the people that don't like what I do, why are you here? What's going on? Why bother? There's so much other great content and so many other great YouTube channels in the vinyl community and beyond. So thank you again. My heart goes out to you, and I'm seriously appreciative of this and really gobsmacked. So Mazzy loves you a lot. Take care.